Good evening. It's about to get more expensive to drive in London again. In an unexpected move today, the Mayor has announced that the congestion charge could rise by as much as 20% next year. On the 2nd of January, the daily £15 fee for drivers in central London will increase to £18, and drivers of electric vehicles who are currently exempt will start having to pay the toll. It's all subject to a consultation period, but for those drivers who've recently gone green and the businesses who rely on them, well, they're seeing red. With the details, here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
When it comes to the Mayor's road tolls, the congestion charge is the daddy of them all. It's been a fixture in central London for 22 years. Now the Mayor wants to put it up. Some drivers will see their charge rise by 20%, and electric vehicle owners will have to pay for the first time. How much more money will this raise for TfL?
Well, it's not about raising money, it's about the outcome, a bit like ULEZ, the ultra-low emission zones.
But it will raise more money.
It will raise more money.
Do you know how much?
We estimate in the first year probably around £30 million, and that will all be reinvested into public transport and into the urban realm in central London.
The proposals would see the £15 for petrol and diesel cars go up to £18. The exemption for electric cars will be scrapped. Their drivers will pay £13.50. And for electric vans and lorries, the charge will go from £0 to £9. The last time the charge went up was in 2020, when TfL was in a financial crisis caused by COVID. Now the Mayor wants to put it up every year to coincide with TfL's annual fares increase. Omar and his family run a dry cleaners in Pimlico. They recently spent £15,000 on an electric van to avoid the congestion charge.
Obviously, there's going to be more costs going towards congestion, which is really hard, especially if it's going to go, increase every single year. Because there's other charges like ULEZ, and now there's, other tunnels that you have to pay for. So I think it's very hard for the business.
Ty runs a flower shop in Southwark and also uses cars and vans to deliver to customers.
It's already difficult for small businesses at the moment. But to actually add another £15,000 a year, I think it's a little bit, it's beyond thinking that we'll be able to survive.
When the C charge was introduced in London in 2003 by the then Mayor Ken Livingstone, it cost £5 a day. He, like the current Mayor, argued it was essential to ease the gridlock, but Sadiq Khan's opponents don't buy that.
If the Mayor really wanted less congestion, he wouldn't have all the LTNs that he has, and he wouldn't have all the bus lanes that he has, and he wouldn't have the 20 miles an hour that he has, all of which are massively contributing to slowing down traffic and increasing congestion.
The changes will also mean newcomers to central London will only be eligible for the residents' discount if they drive an electric vehicle.
Simon, this is a big blow, isn't it, for people who drive electric vehicles?
Yes, the Mayor always said that the current exemption for EVs, the 100% discount, i.e. no charge at all, would end on Christmas Day. There was a chance that they would have to pay the full price. So this isn't going to be as painful as it might have been, but it's still going to sting. But the Mayor and TfL say that without the price hike, the number of cars entering central London will go up by around 2,200 a day during the week. And while it might seem a disincentive to Londoners to try to persuade them to switch to electric, some environmental campaigners support the Mayor.
You've got to think about balancing, the need of the private car against the needs of everyone else who walks, cycles and uses the buses. We've got problems with bus speeds in the city. We have to balance that up. I think what the Mayor has done rightly today is distinguish between SMEs, freight vehicles and private cars, and actually noting that we need more support for SMEs to go electric in vans.
The other unexpected change is that anyone who moves to central London who drives a diesel or a petrol or a hybrid car won't be allowed to apply for the 90% residents discount. Now, the public consultation ends on August the 4th, but I've racked my brains and I can't recall any public consultation by TfL that persuaded the Mayor to change his direction of travel.
OK, Simon, thank you.
Good evening. Cannabis should not be criminal. That's the call from the Mayor today, who wants to see the drug decriminalised, removing natural cannabis from the Misuse of Drugs Act. A report by the London Drugs Commission suggests that a change in policy could improve relationships between the police and certain ethnic communities by reducing the number of disproportionate stop and searches. It also argues that the current legal consequences for possessing cannabis outweigh the dangers of the drug itself. Sadiq Khan says a law change is long overdue, but those opposed to the idea tell us it could have devastating consequences. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
Sadiq Khan's campaign to decriminalise cannabis has been a slow burn. It's 3 years since his visit to a licensed cannabis farm in California, where he announced he was setting up a commission to look at relaxing the law. Today, the former Labour Justice Secretary, who chaired it, published his findings. He thinks the existing law is racist.
It sours community relations because stop and search on the basis of the smell of cannabis is used disproportionately against the black community, particularly in London, and it focuses police activity not just on dealing but on possession as well. So it needs to be changed.
There is clear evidence that long-term consumption does cause psychosis and very serious mental illness. It's illegal for a reason. The police should be policing against possession in public places, and I'm shocked that the Mayor appears to be soft on drugs and soft on antisocial behaviour.
In Camden Market, this stall sells CBD products made with a non-intoxicating extract from the cannabis plant. CBD can relieve pain and anxiety. The stall's owner would welcome a change in the law.
You've got Germany have legalised, Portugal, Spain, and obviously America, Canada, and they're seeing the benefits economically. We don't want to lag behind them.
A wise man once said, decriminalisation across the nation, and also don't panic, it's organic, there's nothing wrong with it at all, do you know what I mean?
But Pastor Beryl St James disagrees. She works with young people in Croydon.
People who are going to jump up and say, well, I've smoked it for years and I'm absolutely fine. I'm dealing with people who started off with one little piece and are now so comatose, have very little to do or say within society, and the effects are devastating to see how people's lives have been destroyed.
So Sadiq Khan said today's report made a compelling case for decriminalising the possession of small amounts of the drug. Ministers here at the Home Office were quick to reject the Mayor's argument. A spokesperson said the government had no intention of reclassifying cannabis.
So here you start to see the wide array. We have a lot.
During his America trip, the Mayor was also shown around a shop where Californians can legally buy cannabis and cannabis products like sweets and cookies. But even his Drugs Commission concluded this would be a step too far.
Well, Simon, the Mayor can't really afford to be on the wrong side of the Home Office right now, can he?
No, Caroline, the timing of this is curious because, as you say, right now, the Mayor needs to do nothing which will annoy ministers. That's because he's trying to persuade them to look favourably on London during next month's comprehensive spending review. In addition to long-term funding for Transport for London, he also wants Home Office money for the Met. You'll recall that the Commissioner has warned of big cuts unless he gets an extra £260 million. Well, earlier today, Sir Mark Rowley underscored that message in a radio interview.
In London today, the resources to match the population that we had sort of 12, 15 years ago, we need best part of £1 billion more. New York is massive, is the same size city. They've got massively more numbers of police officers and police staff to deal with it.
You'll recall that the Commissioner has also said that unless he gets the extra cash, 1,700 police officer and community support officer jobs will have to go. That's in addition to cuts already announced to the Flying Squad and the Royal Parks. Carolyn.
OK, Simon, thanks very much indeed.
But first, the latest on HS2. Under construction since 2019, it's fair to say the project hasn't been without its problems. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has been given access to the platforms at Old Oak Common, which now looks set to become a major passenger hub. But as he found out, there's still nothing concrete when it comes to timings or budgets.
In a huge concrete cavern below West London, the platforms where HS2 passengers will wait for trains are taking shape. It could be a long wait. The troubled project still has no completion date or final price tag. A new chief executive is carrying out what HS2 calls a reset, drawing up a revised timetable and budget. But until he does, his colleagues are giving nothing away.
I'm not going to speculate on what any revised opening date or revised opening window might be. That's for the reset team to advise, and then the decisions or the advice will come forward then.
The most recent estimate put the cost of the London to Birmingham Railway at more than £60 billion. But engineers at Old Oak Common are trying to focus instead on their milestones, like installing the platforms.
This was a major challenge, but it was also a feat of engineering. We excavated 1.3 million tonnes of earthworks out of here to create the box that you see around you.
Eventually, HS2 will go to Euston, but no one knows when that will be either. The plans have gone back to the drawing board. So for the foreseeable future, Old Oak Common will be the end of the line, the southern terminus of HS2. That means most passengers having to change trains. That's why 8 new platforms are also being built at ground level as part of a rail interchange. But disability campaigners like Sam are angry that current plans mean wheelchair users could be forced to use a ramp to board or leave trains on the Elizabeth line at Old Oak Common.
When it comes to things being built and they start going over budget, the first thing they tend to cut under the guise of the best use of taxpayers' money is access. And that's what happened with the Elizabeth line. We don't have the toilets there, it's not all step free, it's not what it was intended to be when people were first campaigning for it.
One of the problems is the tracks through the station will also be used by freight trains, which can be wider than passenger trains.
Only 2% of train stations in the UK currently have level boarding, and when we're seeing new infrastructure being put in that doesn't meet that, it's incredibly disappointing.
But HS2 says the Department for Transport has asked it to find a solution.
I'm confident that in the next few months we're going to get to the right place.
At one point, the timetable for HS2's first trains suggested 2030. It's likely to be the end of the year before we know if there's another delay. Simon Harris, ITV News, Old Oak Common.